We are now joined by a distinguished American in West Palm Beach, Dr. Edgar Mitchell, the Apollo 14 astronaut, sixth man to walk on the moon. Many of the Roswell witnesses told Dr. Mitchell their accounts, which he says were later verified by a contact at the Pentagon. What do you believe, Dr. Mitchell?
Well, I can say, Larry, I have no first-hand experience, but all of my experience comes from what I call the old-timers that at some point in their, before they passed on, and these were folks all gone now, and because I was who I was, because I lived in the area, I grew up in the area, and because I was an astronaut, some of them wanted to get it off their chest before they passed on, and I happened to be selected to hear their story. And all of them, as I heard some of the earlier testimony, all of them were under very severe oaths and fear and penalty for talking, but they did want to talk. And at some point,
what do you think, well, Dr. Mitchell, what do you think of Bill Nye's assessment when it comes to what happened, that this was a spy balloon?
I'm sorry, Bill Nye he was saying everybody's colored by their beliefs and not looking at the evidence. I'm sorry, he's not either. And I think he's totally wrong.
So let me ask you.
Hold on, don't interrupt.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dr. Mitchell, I'm sorry.
Well, I eventually went to the Pentagon and asked for a meeting with the Intelligence Committee of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, which I got with another naval officer who had had many similar experiences. And we told our story. And this gentleman, a vice admiral, said to us, well, I don't know about that, but I'm going to find out. And called a few weeks later and said he had found the source of the black budget funding for this project, and that he was going to subsequently investigate, because if it was real, he should know about it. As a matter of fact, he should be in charge. That was his words. And so we did get calls from him sometime later, and a report much later than that, that he had found the people responsible for the cover-up and for the people who were in the know. And we're told, I'm sorry, Admiral, you do not have need to know here, and so goodbye.
All right, Bill.
So what are you saying? So first of all, did you interview these people on their deathbed or under oath? Okay, I want the viewer, I mean, I'm not going to change your mind. So that's go for that. Then, you know, you said
they sought me out.
Referred to a vice president.
They sought him out.
Okay, yeah, but they were not on their deathbed. A deathbed declaration is quite a different thing from seeking you out and telling a story.
Hey,
this is not for you. I'm not going to convince you.
I am not interested in arguing with you. I'm telling my story. If you want to shut up and hear it, I'll be glad to talk. Otherwise, no.
Okay, I'm claiming that you haven't made a claim about aliens. You made a claim about a cover-up, which I'm right there with you. And you made a claim about an admiral who was not given clearance to read it. I'm right there with you on that. But go ahead about the aliens.
I happen to have lived in the area, and and I grew up in the area, and my family had farming and ranch holdings and farm machinery holdings. We knew many of the people, including the ranch where this was discovered, and in spite of all of the security oaths, etc., the talk in the community was of what it was, that it was a alien craft, and that survived all of the other stories and all of the other oaths and so forth. It was there for a long time. I happen to have lived there. As a matter of fact, Robert Goddard, the father of American rocketry, his farm was right down the road from ours, and I walked past his home every day going there. So I feel fairly well informed on all of this. And like some of your earlier witnesses, Larry, whose fathers talked to them or whose parents talked to them, and they were involved, we heard the same thing. We knew it. It was not really covered up. And so these stories did get out, even though the day after the official announcement had come out in the Roswell Record in the newspaper and was refuted the next day, there was a lot of snickering and laughing going on about what in the world's going on here.
Dr. Mitchell, we're going to do more on this. I want to invite you back for a longer period of time. You're a distinguished American. We appreciate your appearing with us.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you. Dr. Edgar Mitchell, do you believe the government lies about UFO activity? Our next guest, a career military man, says it does. You're watching Larry King Live.
And then finally, are you aware of a document that appeared around 2019, sometimes called the Admiral Wilson Memo or EW Notes Memo?
I am not.
You're not.
Are you tracking?
I'm not personally aware of that.
Okay. This is a document in which, again, I'm not commenting on the veracity. I was hoping you would help me with that, in which a former head of DIA claims to have had a conversation with the Dr. Eric Wilson and claims to have sort of been made aware of certain contractors or DoD programs that he tried to get fuller access to and was denied access to. So you're not aware of that?
I'm not aware, Congressman.
In my 10 seconds remaining, then, I guess I just would ask, Mr. Chairman, unanimous consent to enter that memo into the record.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it.
The Wilson documents, something that I'm not at liberty to discuss, were submitted for the first time as public record. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in that hot seat right now. I mean, I know what I know, and you know, I wouldn't want to touch that hot potato with a 10-foot pole.
No, look, just for a moment, just for our audience, I'm just going to quickly explain to our audience. The Wilson documents record an alleged conversation between Dr. Eric Davis and Admiral Tom Wilson, the then recently retired director of the Defense Intelligence Agency, where Tom Wilson describes attempts that he purportedly made to discover a secret program inside the US Defense Department, which was hiding special access programs, code word programs that were concealing an alleged craft retrieval back engineering program.
Tell me about the Admiral Wilson transcript.
I can't discuss that.
You can't discuss.
I'm not at liberty to discuss it.
Because you're all over the.
Oh, I know.
All over it.
Yeah. They were leaked out of Ed Mitchell's estate. There's nothing I can say about it.
I mean, can you speak to the veracity of them?
No, I can't. I can't address that at all. I won't answer any questions on the Admiral Wilson notes.
You don't want to speak to at least whether these are.
You know, they're purportedly classified information. I can't. I'm not at liberty to confirm or verify any aspect of those notes. And you know, when you have security clearances, that's something you don't want to violate, because the Department of Justice under the Obama administration, and it's continued under the Trump administration policies, is they will vigorously prosecute anybody with security clearances who will go out of their way to discuss any classified information that got leaked or released into the public illegally, so, or through other means.
Okay.
Well, so I can't address those notes in any form or fashion.
So, Canadian Grant Cameron uploaded 15 pages of documents, allegedly notes taken by Dr. Eric Davis. Like, here is what appears to be a letter to you from a Will Miller.
Okay. All right. Well, he uploaded it, but I can't address any of it, so.
Apollo astronaut Edgar Mitchell, who had grown up around Roswell, was an aerospace insider with deep Pentagon connections. He became convinced there were UFO secrets concealed from normal government channels.
Well, if the accounts are to be believed, yes, there have been ET visitation, there have been crashed craft, there have been material and bodies recovered, and there is some group of people somewhere that may or may not be associated with government at this point, but certainly were at one time, that have this knowledge.